This is Hog Farmer Chris from the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation. And before you start listening to Red Zone in the Lab, check out our Amazon Smile, a simple way to support the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation every time you shop, and it's no cost to you.
We're back! Welcome back to Red Zone in the Lab with Deuce.
Welcome to a brand new season of the Red Zone in the Lab podcast, where nothing is off the table. We will be discussing entrepreneurship, education, Black history, health, movies, family, and of course, sports. So do yourself a favor, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on all social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, you can always visit us at redzoneinTheLab.com.
We're back! Welcome back to Red Zone in the Lab with Deuce.
This is Red Zone in the Lab podcast. I am Dion Deuce Blackney, and we are here for the Commanders post-game. Yes, we lost. We lost the game. We know we lost the game. But we here. You know what I'm saying? It was job tough. I was like, man, I'm about to hit Breeze up, tell him, man, next week, man. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the first time, like, I'm doing it like this, like, during the season. You know what I'm saying? This is, like, my first year. Even, like, watching tape, and I was talking about watching the game. I watched the game last week a couple times. It was easy, but now I'm like, man, how fans take the fandom out of watching games over and over when you know they lost. So that's going to be a challenge, man. I already know it, man. But, yeah, man, we're talking about, man, Darious Rickson here, man, ins and outs. Got my man Breeze that's always helping me out on the Red Zone and Lab, man. What's good, y'all?
What's happening with you, bro?
It's good.
So, man,
we lit.
Man, Darius, what you think, man? Give me some initial thoughts, man. Are you still on the ledge, man? You got one leg off? What is it looking like?
Man, I'm still optimistic, man. Like, we're going to lose games, but it was just the way we lost. Like, I didn't expect us to be down 22-0 in the first half. And I'm just sitting here the whole time, like, the energy for the team, like, it wasn't there. Defense was lagging. I mean, they had a couple of stops, but then they were still giving up big plays. You're trying to figure out how to give up big plays. Offense, they went from last week, you know, they were aggressive. They were attacking the Jaguars. But then this game, I saw them try to be a little bit conservative. So I didn't really like that. But then the second half, you saw a whole different team. They made the stops when they needed to. Carson Wentz in the game, they were putting up points when we needed to. But then again, it was the mental errors, the little things that matters in the game of football. So on to week three, man.
Breeze, what's your initial thoughts, man?
I mean, a lot of the same. You know, we came out the gate. First half, I mean, let's just call it what it is. They kind of did what they wanted to do on both sides of the ball. You know, they wanted every phase in the first half, but you know, we spotted them 22 points. But we came out in the second half, like they said, it was a completely different team. You know what I mean? If we played the second half the same way we played the first half, we might potentially be talking about a different outcome. You know what I mean? But you can't spot any NFL team 20. You shouldn't be able to spot any NFL team 22 points and still come out on top in that win. You know what I mean? As long as they're making adjustments and move forward, is what they like. D said they're gonna lose games, part of football. You know what I mean? I'm on to the next, on to week 3. I'm not jumping off the ledge at all. I'm both feet firmly planted.
Man, me too. Matter of fact, I ain't even nowhere near the edge. You know what I'm saying? The edge is at a distance to me, man. That's how I'm really feeling it. Man, let's get off the rip and talk about Carson Wentz. Let's get this out the way. I mentioned in the spaces that what he showed me today is that he wants to win. Like he showed me that he cares, right? He showed me that, you know, he's here. He wants to take this as his team moving forward. You know, when they was down, they went down and made mistakes. You always, when they cut the camera to the sideline, he was always over there, you know, like dapping them up, trying to encourage them, the offense and the defense. You know what I'm saying? He was there. We know who Carson Wentz is. You know what I'm saying? We know he throws some. He got to get the ball down sometimes, but sometimes he put it on the rope. Like we knew this coming in. He had some accuracy issues, but it didn't overwhelm the on target like the touchdown of the Logan Thomas. Man, he put that joint on the rope. You know what I'm saying? So we knew this coming in. So why is it such a surprise to some of our fans that he throwing people high sometimes? He making, his accuracy is in question sometimes. We knew this coming in. But for me, I'd rather say this. I felt this last week, but I'd rather say this after a loss that I believe in Carson Wentz. I'm with Carson Wentz this year. I'm with him. How you feel about it, Breeze?
I mean, I agree. Excuse me. I agree 100%. And I don't think it's so much people being surprised at the way Carson plays. I think if there's so many people had a negative outlook on him coming in, that they just can't wait to be quote unquote right about him. You know what I mean? So any mistake he makes is amplified by people who didn't want him. You know what I mean? Like I saw on Twitter somebody talk about, when he got on the safety. You know what I'm saying? He got the left tackle. I love me some Charles Leno. Charles Leno got beat. Yeah. Carson Wentz just hitting the top of his drop when got hit from his blind side. How is that Carson Wentz score?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like people are so ready to be quote unquote right. Whether they want Heineke, whether they want Sam Howell, whether they want somebody else, they just want to be right about Carson Wentz. To be honest with you, it's unfair to him, but it is what it is. I mean, fans gonna be fans however they see fit.
Yeah, man, I agree. What's up, D?
So look, man, I'm not giving up on Carson Wentz because one thing I said to myself after talking to y'all today, I was like, man, look, we actually missed a whole year of Ryan Fitzpatrick. And we all know the type of play style he has. So this is just the $28 million version of him. So, look, some of the throws he made out there, okay, like they were bad, but some of the throws I seen out there, I ain't seen that in a minute since Kirk Cousins was here, especially that touchdown to Logan Thomas over the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving up with Carson Wentz.
I mean, the joint that Curtis
guy relaxed.
The joint to Curtis Samuel, man, not too many people could drop that joint in the bucket like that, man.
Yeah, you're right. But
and Curtis paid
I'm
for
not
it
giving
too,
up.
Yeah, he paid for it. He got punished. he got punished. Man. He stepped inside his face mask. Yeah, he got punished on that.
Man, the camera was on him for so long, bro. I was like, bro, don't do my man.
Yeah, man. He was like, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not giving up on him, man. It's still week 2. We got play more weeks to go. He's played good so far. I mean, the turnovers they're going to be turnovers. Every quarterback going to turn the ball over some way or somehow. But I'm good with Carson Wentz. I believe so.
All right, so let's talk about Scott Turner a little bit. I think he kind of out-coached himself to start this game. I think he was listening to outside noise about taking deep shots. I think a lot of those plays was taking too long to develop, and it's just too early. We needed to establish a running game, or we need to establish an extension of the run, like the quick passes. You know what I'm saying? The quick stuff. Just do what worked last week and continue that. How do you feel about Scott Turner, Darius?
For me, I agree with you. I felt like he kind of outcoached himself last week. The main goal was to get Curtis Samuel the ball in space, and I don't think he had a reception till maybe somewhere in the second quarter or something like that. So I think for this offense, we already know Carson, he's going to hold the ball a little bit longer than some quarterbacks. So you got to help him with the quick passing game, especially for Aaron Glenn's defense. He's a aggressive defensive coordinator that likes to blitz people, and he blitzed the Eagles last week. So I would have thought Scott Turner would have took a note of that. The only reason they got saved last week because Jalen Hurts had the ability to run, and Carson he can run, but he's not Jalen Hurts, or he's not the Carson Wentz like early in his youth and stuff like that. So that's kind of surprising, but the second half he kind of redeemed himself. I just need Scott Turner to put everything in the bag together. Like, you can't let your foot off the pedal, and you can't not be scared to press the gas. Like, those are the things that kind of separate the great coordinators and like the coordinators you question.
How you feel about him, Breeze?
And I've been openly and honestly overly critical of Scott Turner since he came here. And I feel like at this point, you know, with the weapons that we know we have, not even people that we're assuming, at this point, we know what Terry is. I've seen enough of Jahan Dotson. We know what Jahan is. We know what Curtis is. We know what we got with Logan and the other 45 titans on the roster. We know what we can do with Gibson. We know because we have enough pieces on this roster where you can literally just take what the defense gives you and still move the ball up and down the field. I feel like there's no need to get too cute, trying to outdo it and overdo it too much. Take deep shots here and there. Listen, if they want to take away 17, fine. We got 1, we got 10, we got 23. Like, you know what I'm saying? Take what the defense gives you and move the ball like that. It's quick. We saw today. This is, as of right now, this line is not built to sit there and have all these long developing passing plays. It's just not. They're not ready for it. Whether it's a skill thing or a scheme thing, whatever it is, they aren't ready for that at this point in the season. Get the ball out. Get the ball out of Carson's hands, into the playmakers' hands, and let those playmakers make plays. I mean, don't get too cute about it, but I mean, you know, he definitely. They went in the halftime today, and they definitely made some adjustments, and they came out looking night and day in the second half. For me, way better.
Yeah, man, that's the thing that I was kind of confused about. It's like, yeah, they came out on fire, right? They came out hype. You know, they was at home. They got a good coaching staff. Dan Campbell, he's a motivational coach. That's just who he is. And when they come out like that, you have to come out and you got to punch him in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? You have to establish something, get somebody out in the open field. It just seemed like it was too much long developing plays. And this is not to the environment to do that. And then the adjustment came so late. Like you gotta learn how to adjust from first to second quarter. I mean, the elite coaches can adjust during the drive. Turn is not there yet. But you gotta find a way to make some type of adjustments, at least from quarter to quarter.
The calendar says that summer is ending soon, but we're still outside. So when it's time to hop in your ride, make sure you book the best mobile detailing service in the DMV, Miles Detailing. Call 240-273-4018 or contact on Instagram at Miles Detailing to book your service today. Mention Red Zone in the Lab podcast for 10% off detail services only. Ride in style with Miles Detailing, that is.
Welcome back to Red Zone in the Lab with Deuce.
That's the issue, and that was the issue last week too.
So let me ask you.
Also, go ahead, Darious. Go ahead.
So this game, right? When they played the Eagles had 216 yards rushing, and 90 of that came from Jalen Hurts. So you take that 90 away, that's 126 yards rushing. I'm kind of surprised that, you know, the running game didn't really work. It worked against the Jaguars, but I'm surprised they didn't try to get a guy like Jonathan Williams a little bit involved just to get a hot hand in the running game and still try to use Gibson and McKissick in the passing game to help out offense. What are your thoughts about that?
That actually kind of leads into what I was about to say. I feel like they're still, you know, they have a set role for J.D. McKissick, you know what I'm saying, which is not necessarily to run him as a traditional running back. You know, I mean, he'll get tosses and sweeps here and there, but JD's job is to catch the ball on third down and go make a play. I feel like they're extremely cautious with the way that they use Antonio Gibson, especially running the football because of, you know, the quote unquote issues that he's had over the last season. I feel like they were going into the season they were looking at being extremely reliant on Brian Robinson. Now that he's not here for right now, you know, it's kind of like they don't really know what to do. They don't really trust Antonio Gibson in using him the way that they used him last season, or the way that they would have used Robinson this year. So it's kind of like a kind of mix and match kind of thing, and nothing is really coming together. As far as Williams, I have no idea why they haven't been using Williams more. Because if you don't trust, if we know McKissick can't do it, and we don't trust Gibson to do it, you got to have somebody that can run between the tackles and put his foot down and get 2-3 yards and just keep the chains moving. You know what I mean? So that's my thought on the running game, that they were just thinking so much about Brian Robinson, and when he was no longer available, everything went to hell basically.
Yeah, because it looks like they're trying to use Gibson as they're going to use him when Brian Robinson comes back. It's like they're using him as if Brian Robinson is still here, and that's not the case. Because like most of his runs look like it's set up off of something else that we haven't actually ran. So that's where the disconnect is, and we see that, especially on early downs. That's why I was thinking you use the extension, like get those quick screens out there, those slants. They coming from the edges. Throw some slants. Terry can take a slant to the house. He's proven that. You know, you got Samuels who also can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's just, I don't see why. And you can see, like, you know, I like Gibby. I like what he can bring, but him being the even though he got 1,000 yards, right? If you look at those games, you know, even those games where he actually ball out or whatever, we're kind of up, right? And he's able to run the ball in the second half to pick up most of his yards. He is not a guy that you can come straight off out the gate and run and smack somebody in the face. That's not who he is. So we got to find a way to get our guys in open field like he did last week on the first couple opening drives. Like this week, it's just the long development plays. Like the first play was like it seemed like it went. Man, I'm just so confused about those play calling, man. I'm confused about it.
So let me ask you this. So looking at the way football is now, and this, I'm not trying to take anything away from Antonio Gibson. I think he's a hell of a football player when used correctly. But is rushing for just over 1,000 yards in an era of spread offenses with playing 17 games, is that as impressive as that was in the early 2000s or the 90s when everybody was built to stop the run and running was at a premium, was shorter, albeit a game, but a shorter season?
It's about impact. Like you can have 1,000 yards, but how much of that 1,000 yards actually impacted the game? Right. Like you look at Derrick Henry, he might get 60, 70 yards, but it's going to be a big impact to the game. You know what I'm saying? Right. And look at Swift. He got a couple big plays, you know what I'm saying? But it was like an impact. It made a difference. And at some point, you know, that's what we need. We need some type of impact. Like you saw Brian Robinson in I know it was just preseason, but it was against first stringers. He was getting 6 here, got 5 here. I mean, he hit the holes. It was an impact. It makes the defensive coordinator say, all right, we got to think about possibly sneaking up 8 in the box when he out on the field.
Yeah, I think Gibson also in a lot of ways, like at least from me watching on TV, again, I have no way of knowing for sure. But when I watch him run, I feel like a lot of times he's looking to hit a home run every time he touches the ball. You know what I mean? Like, like
he's a receiver. That's what he's still in that mindset of a receiver.
Even then, like, you know, I'm a coach. I coach now. Like I don't play no more, but I coach now. I tell my kids, listen, I'd much rather you catch the ball and fall and it's 2nd and 5. Then you thinking I gotta make a big play. Now you done dropped it or it's incomplete. Now 2nd and 10. Get the yardage that's there, and we can line back up the next play and go get the rest of it. But if you bouncing stuff outside that's not meant to be bounced outside, or you skipping holes and missing your cutback lanes because you think you got to hit a home run every single time. Now to your point of whatever your yardage is got to be an impact. Now you aren't making an impact. So yeah, you might have 20-something carries for 70 yards. What's your average on that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're averaging 2 yards a carry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not impacting the game at this point.
Right. So
and Darious, to this point, he hasn't hit a home run. You know what I mean?
Right. So, like, Darious, let me ask you this. I don't want to take nothing away from Aiden Hutchinson. It seems like Younger is the truth. Seems like he's going to be a baller. The first 2 sacks was coverage sacks. They was long developed plays. It wasn't like he got to him in 1 second. I mean, Carson was back there like 3-4 seconds. Yeah. He had time. And you mentioned something about Jalen Hurts earlier. You can see where if Carson had legs, he would be able to have that same type of impact. You know what I'm saying? Because big lanes opened up, but Carson kind of stepped in that lane and he's still looking downfield, which is fine. That's type of quarterback we have. But what do you think about those early sacks and those early pressures?
Yeah, so those are the kind of the plays I'm talking about. You mentioned about the long development plays. Like we really couldn't know from
they wouldn't show they wouldn't show the like the blimp view. I'm thinking of blimp because of old Madden. But it's like all the replays was like at the line of scrimmage. So I couldn't see the routes, but we just gotta wait. But yeah.
Yeah, but like we really couldn't tell during that first half were wide receivers getting open. But I did notice on that first sack, Curtis Samuel was in the slot. I believe he ran an option route, but because Carson was moving so much in the pocket because they blitzed up the middle, those were the plays where like it took a while for him, and he was trying to find his way, get the ball out. Those plays we really can't have. Like I think that's still a coaching thing. We have to coach them to either throw the ball away or get the ball out your hand quick. You can't hold the ball that long in this league, especially with turnovers. Like turnovers we can't have. But the first 2 sacks, they were pretty much coverage sacks. Like he is a baller, Aiden Hutchinson, but I just felt like the offensive line and some of the it's a combination of 3 things. The play calling, offensive line played today. Offensive line did not look good today. I'm just going to be completely honest. And then Carson Wentz kind of held the ball a little bit too long for my liking. He got away with it with the Jaguars game, but I think Aaron Glenn saw that on tape and decided to send pressure early.
Yeah, but I think even with that, with Carson, I don't. Okay, if I say Carson is holding the ball, I can say he's holding the ball to a point where he should try to start using his legs to maybe scramble to get out the pocket. But him holding the ball that long is showing me that something downfield is not happening. Like somebody is not open, or whatever progression he's in, he's missed someone and he's holding on to the ball. But he has to get to a point where he gets to the third progression. He needs to start moving out, because I don't think he's having an issue with the dumps. I think he's dumping the ball off. I mean, of course, we saw it more so in the second half, but it's not like he's refusing to dump the ball off. How the Carson haters is going to try to drill in us that's what happened. Just like Face today, talked about, Colin was holding the ball too long and this and that. No, that's not true. You just looking at it through the I hate Carson type eyes. I don't think he's a good quarterback. But how do you feel about that, Breeze?
I mean, speaking as a former wide receiver and the current coach, I would tell Carson, and this is not me speaking like I know better, it's just, you know what I mean? I would tell Carson, make your pre-snap reads, make your, take who you want. Okay, that's my first read, my second read. Your first and second read not there, you have enough mobility to read one out there, read two out there. I don't have enough time to sit back here and wait for option 3 or 4 to come open. Put your foot in the ground, get 3-4 yards to get out the way. You know what I mean? That's what I would tell Carson to do. Like D said, the offensive line just didn't play well enough today, and they didn't make that adjustment fast enough, soon enough. I said on Twitter, like, they're gonna have to go max protect or something, because whatever they're trying to scheme up down the field is not there. You know what I mean? Carson Wentz is not holding up. We know enough football to know he's not holding the ball for 5 seconds on a quick pass play. Like that's not why he's holding the ball. He's holding the ball because he's waiting for something. Whatever they saw on film in practice is something supposed to be open downfield, and it's not.
It's
there.
not open.
So Carson Wentz has enough visibility and mobility where if a hole opens up, he
has to go,
take a couple steps and get in. That's what you need to do. He can't sit back there and just try to dot people up. He has that ability to. But with the line we have right now, they aren't built to hold up that long. So like I said, you drop back, read 1, read 2. If it's not there, put your foot in the ground, get whatever's there, get down, let's line up and go back out again.
Yeah, he has to start giving that threat. Not that we want him to do it all the time, but he has to give that threat that he will do it. And I think that'll open up stuff downfield. Because if you got linebackers, when the ball snap, they 20 yards down the field in zone because they don't think you're gonna run. So you have to, have the ability to have that threat. All right, let's go to the other side of the ball. Let's talk about Jack Del Rio. The whole the Jamin Davis thing, man. A lot of people is putting a lot of heat on the young boy, but he didn't play well. I don't think Cole Holcomb played well. If you look at the stats, Cole Holcomb like he going to the Pro Bowl. You know what I'm saying? He probably had like 12, 13 tackles. But all of it is second level tackles. For some reason, play side runs, they was doubling either Payne or Allen on play side runs. They have to find a way to hit those holes. For some reason, they just won't. Jamin did have a play in the second half when he stopped Swift in the backfield. That's what we need from you, right? In the first half, I think when he got that that sack on that stunt. I haven't watched. Of course, I haven't watched it back yet, but that looked like that was the only time they ran that play with him rushing the pass on that stunt. I could be wrong, but that looked like the only time that I saw that play. But that's what we need. That's what we need from him. So, I mean, what are y'all thinking? How much did you think is scheme, Breeze, or how much you think is coaching, or how much do you think is on the plays?
So I had this conversation with my brother like shortly after the game. And basically at this point, they've made their bed with the linebacker situation. You know, my personal opinion of the situation is they have 4 or 5 linebackers that are all sub-package linebackers, but nobody that's an every down linebacker. If you think about Jamin's career, and I love Jamin Davis, you know, we both went to Kentucky, you know what I'm saying? I love that. But, you know, if you think about Jamin's career, you know, the last 2 games and then all the last season that he played, right? The majority of the plays that he's flashed on or made a play on, they were all in the backfield. You know what I mean? At this point, we're not saying that he can't develop, but at this point in Jamin's career, Jamin excels at going forward. Let him use his speed, go downhill, go hit something, go disrupt something. Don't have him moving side to side. Don't have him dropping back when he got to read something. Take the linebackers specifically, find what each of them do good and play them to those strengths. At this point, you can no longer just try to plug them into a hole in your defense. You got to find what each of those guys do well and scheme around them to, you know, to play to the best of their ability. That goes for Jamin, that goes for Cole, that goes for Milo, Mayo, and Bostic. Figure out what it is that each of those guys do well and play them to those strengths. But you can't just have them. You can't have Jamin, Cole. You cannot have those guys. We all know every last one of those guys, maybe with the exception of Cole, has a glaring weakness as a linebacker. You can't just try to plug those kind of guys into your defense and hope for the best, because that's what's been happening, and we've seen it constantly. That second level of the defense getting picked apart for one reason or another, whether it's, you know, being late playing the run, being outmatched in coverage, something. But they, you know what I mean, they have to make that adjustment and stop trying to plug guys in and be like, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah, at this point, man, this whole linebacker thing is starting to beat a dead horse. Like, we're starting to hear about every week talk about Cole Holcomb, Jamin Davis, Bostic even, and Mayo Jar. Like, I'm just really tired of it at this point. But for the Jamin Davis situation, I think it's pretty weird to target one player. I don't know how the question was presented from the reporters today or something like that. I think they asked about it or something like that, but just attacking this dude like already through 2 games, and we're just ignoring the fact the whole defense did not play good as a whole. Like, last time I checked, they didn't ask him to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown on that second down situation, and he got a 49-yard gain. Like, last time I checked,
he's
I don't
butt
think
naked open, man.
like why
miscommunication.
And that stuff is key, like, especially for your middle linebacker who got the green dot. Like those guys take a lot of heat, but I just think the whole defense as a whole, if I'm being real, the best players on the defense has been Allen and Payne. Like, I mean, Montez has flashed a little bit, but those 2 Bama guys have been the ones that have consistently. Now, they did probably get steamrolled a little bit today because they were double team heavily running the ball, but those are the main 2 guys that consistently been playing good. And then guys like Jamin, he flashed a little bit. Dafo had a couple good plays today, but other than that, I just don't know who is that guy on defense. And I'm starting to think it's both player and scheme, because there's no way in the world you can tell me a 3rd and 15 situation, you blitz to the guy, DeAndre Swift falls down. He has the ability to get up. He has the ability to get up and score from that spot. There's no way something like that should happen. And stuff like that always happens against Washington. It don't happen against nobody else. It's just crazy, man. That was the weirdest play, and that really might have cost us a chance to win the game, other than the 2-point conversion and all that other stuff. That probably may have cost us, because imagine if we stopped them there, they either kick the field goal or they miss field goal.
Yeah,
you'll probably be down.
I think that
think they had
Yeah,
like 4 or 5 straight 3-and-outs.
I think that play kind of broke the defense because, like D said, he was literally flat on his back, got up, shook Bobby McCain out his uniform, and then ran to the end. Like,
2
you know
players was like this. They're gonna make a
like,
meme
you know
out of it. Watch, they was like this.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be viral. And then let's call a spade a spade. I agree with D. So far this year, the best 2 players on this defense have been John Allen and Deron Payne. And starting out this game, Detroit ran straight at them. But granted, they were getting double teamed, but they ran straight at them and moved the ball at will. So to me, knowing that those are the best 2 players, you can't tell me that's a player issue. You can't tell me that. They're going at our best 2 players that we all understand are not just good players here. They're good players. They're good NFL football players. John Allen is a great, almost borderline elite NFL football player. You can't tell me that it's the players and they running straight at these dudes. That's a scheme thing. I mean,
there's no way your D tackles should be getting double teamed, pushed back, and your linebackers right behind them, getting pushed back into it. Like, that should not happen. Like, why is that happening? Like the and then, like, when you think about that Swift, you know what we kind of miss, and I just thought about it when you say he failed. When we talking about, is it scheme or is it players? Who was covering him?
I don't know, because it was a blitz.
Like it was nobody there. Like, he was able to a tip ball, he was able to catch it, fall, get up, get up, and make a move. Who was covering him?
I noticed that live, and I saw somebody say something about, they need to run zone or something. If they were in man coverage, somebody should have been over there. If they were in zone coverage, somebody should have been over there. So somebody blew that play to me. So, I mean, which again, that's a coaching and a
coaching thing, man.
Or Jack is out there making up coverages, and somebody was not paying attention to arguably the best offensive player on the field. Like,
that should not happen, man.
That's a whole other issue in and of itself.
Gosh,
but
again,
we
got so much, man. We got so much to talk about with this team and all the errors and the cornerbacks. On that long play to Amon St. Brown on the jet sweep or whatever, it's coming right at you, Jackson. Like, why are you turning your back, bro? Like, you have to look at receiver first. I get it. And you got to look. I mean, everything happened in front of you. How did you turn your back on that play? That's crazy. You couldn't see what was happening. So, I mean, I do took that jump right off the sidelines, man. I'm going to go back and, of course, we got to go back and look at it, man. But those big plays, like the first half, and I think they were big plays, right? The Amon St. Brown jump when he was in the middle of the field, wide open. It was 2 commander players in the same spot. That was a blown assignment. The DeAndre Smith 50-something yard run, we said he can't do that. Both of those plays I think led to field goals, right? Did both of those plays?
Yeah.
I think they scored
field goals. Maybe it was a touchdown.
Might have.
I feel like the reverse led to a touchdown. I think the
one of them was a turnover on downs too, though, right? Remember they got the turnover on downs at the goal line. When we stopped them at the goal line.
I think that.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I'm just saying the drives kind of running.
Yeah. I got to see them, but other than those big plays, man, I think we played them pretty good. That's why, I mean, I was looking at it. I got to look at the tape again. I mean, yeah, they got some big plays, man, but there was a lot of positive, right? And we could talk about firing Jack Del Rio. We could talk about, I always said, I don't think he's going to make it to week 8. It's just the writing on the wall, man. I don't think people want to be around. I don't think the players is playing up. I don't think the players is playing for him. And that's having an impact on how the players play for Ron Rivera too. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to see how that comes out, man. But
do you sit back and say, man, these walls just need something? Feel like it's time to freshen up your place with something new? If your answer is yes, then it's time to call Rob of Lewis Paints Plus, the accent wall expert. Rob will even give you a free estimate on how he can transform those boring walls in your home. To book today, call 240-418-5241 or reach out on Instagram at Lewis Paints Plus. And for 10% off, tell him Red Zone sent you.
let's talk about some positive, man. We got a quarterback, and we still got elite wide receivers, man. We still got one of the best receiving rooms in the league, man. Breeze, you the receiver, man. Talk. Am I just fanboying? Am I being a homer, man?
Nah, I mean, this is one of the few receiver cores in the league that I can think about where the top 3 guys are all fully interchangeable. Like you can literally go in the huddle. If you put Jahan, Terry, and Curtis all on the field, go in the huddle and call a play, they can literally look at each other, hey, which one you want? You know what I mean? And literally just go where they want to go. Like all 3 dudes are fully interchangeable. Jahan, I think it was RG3 that said it. Like Jahan, that you could throw Jahan dots in a sleeping baby and it wouldn't wake. He would catch him and it wouldn't wake up. You know what I'm saying? Like dude has some of the best natural hands I've seen. From a rookie. You know, like dude is a dog. Like we already know what Terry is, and Curtis, now that he's healthy, is showing us to be the player that we all hope and thought he would be coming in. The receiver core is not a problem to me. Like Terry, like Terry said in the clip last week, they can't guard you 1-on-1. They can't guard you 1-on-1. They know they can't guard you 1-on-1. Like you know, they present a mismatch problem for a lot of people. Problem is, you can't have coaching that outthinks that. Get them the ball. Find a way to get them the ball and let them work. You ain't got to be super coach. You ain't got to be super quarterback. Let them do what you paid to make plays. Make plays.
Yeah, man. This offense, the wild thing about this offense, we're only operating at 80% because Cole Turner and Brian Robinson haven't played. So just imagine the impact you can have with Brian Robinson running the rock, getting the 8, the 10, the 15-yard runs, keeping you out of long distance, and then you got Cole Turner with Logan Thomas, 12 personnel, and then your wide receiver core. This offense is giving me 2016, 2015 vibes, bro. Like, I think we're going to be averaging 28 points a game, like legit.
I would argue.
If we just get the defense tightened up, we'll be good.
Listen, I would argue that we're not even functioning at 80.
Yeah. I have to take a still picture of that. Where he froze.
Oh man.
I can get it real quick.
Once Robinson comes back.
You was froze, but the way you froze, the way you was looking, the light was coming on you like you just had a vision. And I was trying to take the picture before you came back, but you came back. Let's start over though. You said you can argue that not 80%.
No, I would argue that we're not even functioning at 80%. You got to think about it. Once Brian Robinson comes back, especially at full speed, full go, now you can fully play Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick in the roles that are actually meant for them. So now both of their roles change, so they can be more effective. And then we're talking about Cole Turner, you can take advantage of so much more stuff and take advantage of way more mismatches. So I don't even think we're functioning at 80%. You know what I mean? Once those two dudes get back, you can do so much more with the offense.
And it's still early too. Like we got to remember that Carson only been in his offense through the preseason, which they ain't played that much, and now these first 2 games, it's still early. You know what I'm saying? His first time in his offense, it's still early. So maybe Turner couldn't give him as much as he want, but I think if Turner would have called the type of game he called in the second half, and the type of game he called on the first few drives last week, he just need to be consistent, and he has to learn how to make those adjustments. And that's what happened last week. He didn't make that adjustment when they switched up the over top help and they started trying to take out the undercover stuff with Samuels. But then second half, he made that adjustment. He was able to go deep. He has to make that adjustment he has to make that adjustment quicker. But to get back on these wide receivers, man, Jahan Dotson is a dog. He's a dog. He's ready for this league, man. I feel foolish about saying, man, who is this dude on draft night? Like most of us, man. But man, I think this wide receiving core could be special. I think this offense can be special, but it all depends on Scott Turner, man. He has to find a way to be consistent. He has to find a way to make adjustments.
Yeah, I agree.
That's saying, man. With Scott, he just got to not outthink it, bro. Just be. If you got to be vanilla and simple, be vanilla, be vanilla and simple. But just get the ball to your playmakers and let them make plays.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah, more than enough of them.
what do you think we need to work on? We about to end it. Got to get ready for the Eagles, man. But as far as this game moving forward, what are some things from this game you will take to the next game, and some things that you hopefully they'll be able to execute or bring forth to the next game? We'll start with you, D.
Look, man, just bring this second half offense to the first half and do it the same thing again in the second half. Just for real, this the whole game, and just for the players itself, attack success. Like you want to win the NFC East. You want to be one of those teams that talked about you have to go and attack success. You have to have that hunger and beat teams like that. And now we're going to have a measuring stick game against the Philadelphia Eagles, the team that everybody's been talking about all season. You know, they got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and the gang. We're going to see how we look against a division foe that's supposed to be up top. And then you got Dallas way after that. So I think this is I hate to say it, bro. This is to me, this is a cold red game. Like, I feel like we have to win this game because we're kind of behind the eight ball. I'm not trying to put so much pressure on it, but I just feel like we have to win a game so that way we can know where we at as an organization.
Yeah, man, I agree. And the kick return game is just terrible. Go ahead, Breeze. What are some things that we can change? That we can take from this game, and some things that you hopefully will be able to execute the next game.
You can't start slow. Whatever that is for you, for whatever your matchup is for week to week, you can't afford to start slow. We've shown and proven that we have an offense that can score points fairly quickly if you allow them to do so. You know what I mean? But defensively, you got to help them out. You can't spot that team 22 points. So, if you have to keep it simple on both sides of the ball and let your players let them be good at what they're good at. Coach to their strengths and don't overcomplicate things for both sides of the ball.
All right, let's end it. Last thought, Darius, what you got?
On the week 3, man, Carson Wentz going to be okay. I think the offensive line is going to do better. I hate we having injuries and stuff right now. But week 3, at home, division game, let's wear the burgundy jerseys.
Yeah.
Let's go hit somebody.
What you got, Breeze?
Man, on the week 3, like D said, anybody that's close to the ledge, got a foot off the ledge, take a deep breath and back up. We good. So you're okay. It's week 2. It's 15 more games left to play. We good, man. We good. Week 3, FedEx Field, Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all better pack the house the same way it was packed in week 1. Do not let them people take over our stadium. I'm there, loud and proud.
Hey, week 2, like everybody else said, there's only 2 games. We have a quarterback. We have elite playmakers. We can score points quick. We've showed that. The defense has showed spurts. We're still missing 2 key players. Hopefully Cam Curl will be back to be able to bring some organization back there on that back 7. Hopefully Cole and Jamin can kind of have some kumbaya moment to get it together, to just start going out there and just striking people. But like Breeze said, man, back up off the ledge. It's okay. Be upset, be mad the day tomorrow, but come Tuesday, get yourself together, get ready for Philadelphia. And like I was here today, I'm gonna be here the rest of the week. Philadelphia, we coming for you. I'm talking the same smack I talked last week. It ain't no hiding, it ain't no shedding. I'm out here in these streets, and I'm gonna be right there in y'all spaces, repping this squad, man. So Darius, I appreciate you for coming in, man. Breeze, I appreciate y'all. We're gonna be doing this every Sunday night, post game. Just give our first initial reactions. No, we ain't watched the game again. We ain't got no tape, none of that. We just talking as fans, man. That's all it is, man. Appreciate you, D. Appreciate you, Breeze.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man.
All right.
This is
Till
Red
next
Zone in the Lab podcast. This is the Commanders post game show. I am Dion. Dudes Black with my man Darius, my man Breeze. We appreciate y'all for listening, for watching. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
Thank you for listening to Red Zone in the Lab podcast. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Red Zone in the Lab. And you can download our podcast at Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean. And please visit our website at redzoneinTheLab.com. Thank you.